Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to our online session of biology for class 9. Today we are going to start our class from the topic where we ended in our previous online class, and our topic was mitosis from chapter 5, that is cell cycle. And in mitosis we discuss the two stages of mitosis, in which the first stage was karyokinesis, in which we discussed prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, and the second stage of mitosis that we were discussing, and that was cytokinesis. So in cytokinesis, as the nucleus of the cell divides in karyokinesis that we discussed in detail, after karyokinesis, cytokinesis occurs, that is the division of cytoplasm. So after the division of nucleus, the cytoplasm divides. The division of cytoplasm is called cytokinesis. Now cytokinesis in animal cell and cytokinesis in plant cell, there is a bit difference between these two types of cytokinesis. In case of animal cell, a cleavage or furrow appear in the cytoplasm between the two nuclei, that is an infolding of the membrane occurs or is formed. Infolding of membrane is formed, and that infolding or that cleavage furrow that start growing towards the center of the cell, thus dividing the parental cell into two daughter cells. Okay, you can see this was the end of mitosis karyokinesis, in which the last phase, that is telophase, the two poles receive equal number of daughter chromosomes and the nuclear membrane reforms. Each daughter cell receive centriole, and then cytokinesis is going to divide the parental cell into two daughter cell. So cytokinesis in animal cell occurs through this cleavage furrow or this infolding of the cell membrane, which grows from periphery towards the center of the cell. But in case of plant cell, how cytokinesis occurs? That is in the middle, in the center of the parent cell between the two poles, small vesicles, they start gathering, then they fuse together. Vesicle is actually a bubble like structure, membranous bubble. So many membranous bubbles, they gather in the center of the cell, and then they fuse and form a plate like structure which we call cell plate, and then this cell plate becomes cell wall and divide the parental cell into two daughter cell. So this is the difference between cytokinesis of an animal cell and a plant cell. It occurs through a cleavage or furrow, and in plant cell, cytokinesis occur by the formation of a cell plate in the center of the cell. Then our next topic is on page 105, and that is significance of mitosis. We are going to discuss our next topic, significance or importance of mitosis. That is how mitosis is important in our biological world. So there are few examples of importance of mitosis. The first one is growth. That is in animals and plants, that is in multicellular organisms, the process of growth, that is the formation of new cells. What is growth? The growth is actually the formation of new cells, the addition of new cells. And how this growth occurs? This occurs by the process of mitosis, because we know that new cells are produced by the process of mitosis. So mitosis helps the multicellular organisms in the process of growth. Then the next importance is repair of worn out parts. Repair of worn out parts, the parts which are old or they are damaged. So how to repair them or how to replace them? So the living organisms have the capability to replace or repair the worn out or damaged parts, and in this repairing, mitosis help the living organisms. You see, यहाँ पर एक एग्जाम्पल दी हुई है जिसके थ्रू it is being discussed that how mitosis help us in repairing or replacing of our worn out cells, tissues, organs. Now see, each time you brush your teeth and rinse your mouth, hundreds of dead and worn out cheek cells, ये हमारे मुंह के अंदर जो cheek cells होते हैं, the worn out cheek cells, daily we wash them out of our mouth. जब हम अपने टीथ ब्रश करते हैं, मुंह धोते हैं, तो ये जो worn out या dead हमारे cheek cells होते हैं, these are being shed off, and these dead cells are then replaced by new cells. And from where these new cells come? These new cells comes by the process of mitosis. So mitosis helps us in repairing of worn out parts or worn out cells, or replacement of dead cells with the new one. It also helps us in asexual reproduction, that is, helps the animals and plants in asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is a process of reproduction. Simply, you are well aware of the process of reproduction, a process in which living organisms produce young ones like themselves. Now, reproduction is of two types, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In case of sexual reproduction, the organisms produce gametes, the reproductive cells. The gametes fuse together in fertilization and form zygote, and from that zygote, then a new organism is developed. While in case of asexual reproduction, only one organism is involved, not two organisms as in sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction occurs through a single organism, and in this case it occurs through different methods in plants as well as in animals. And in asexual reproduction, the process of mitosis helps the animals as well as the plants. How? Now see, many organisms reproduce asexually. Many organisms, that is many animals and plants, they can reproduce, they can multiply their number asexually by asexual reproduction. For example, cutting, grafting, budding. That is, cutting and grafting, these are the two asexual reproductive methods in plants. The budding also occurs in animals. Now, Hydra. Hydra is an animal which reproduce asexually by the process of budding. What happens in budding? During this process, mitosis form a mass of cells called bud on the surface of Hydra, like this. You can see over here, this is a Hydra. On its surface, some cells, they start dividing by the process of mitosis and grows out in the form of a small outgrowth which we call bud. This bud grows bigger in size and attain the shape of parent Hydra, and then it gets detached from the parent Hydra and start its independent life. So you can see how parent Hydra produced by the process of budding a new Hydra. So this is an asexual reproduction in which the Hydra multiply its number, increase its number. So the mitosis continue in the cells of the bud and it grows into a new Hydra. Similarly, flowering plants are capable of vegetative reproduction or asexual reproduction through the process of mitosis in their vegetative parts, that is shoots and roots. Now in plants, in cuttings and grafting, these are the two methods of vegetative reproduction. in which we can multiply the number of plants through asexual reproduction. Over here, mitosis helped the plant. You can see, as in case of rose, we take simple cuttings from the rose plants and grow them in the soil, and then you can see that from this simple cutting a new rose plant arises by the process of growth. And how this growth occur? By the process of mitosis. So we can say that mitosis also helps us over here in cuttings, that is in the development of a new plant from these cuttings. Now from a single rose plant we can take hundreds of cuttings, and from these hundreds of cuttings we can produce hundreds of new rose plants. This is another method of asexual reproduction in plants, in which mitosis helps the plant. This is another method of asexual reproduction which we call grafting. That is also being discussed in your book. You can see grafting. Grafting is also a type of asexual reproduction or vegetative reproduction which occurs in plants. In grafting, what we do, that we take the branch from a good variety of plant and attach it with a plant of inferior variety, like this plant of good variety, good quality, this part is called scion, and this part, the lower part, is called stalk, and then we graft it like this. Both the parts from two different plants are grafted like this, and then this grafted part become a part of this plant and start growing over here. So in this way we can make this inferior quality of plant a superior variety of plant. Now the next is regeneration. What happens in regeneration? It is the process of renewal of organisms or the worn out cells or tissues. Regeneration, री का मतलब है दोबारा, generation दोबारा produce करना. Now the worn out cells are regenerated, the worn out tissues are regenerated, or the whole organisms, the whole parts are regenerated. All organisms have the ability to regenerate cells and tissues that are broken due to certain process such as necrosis. Necrosis क्या है? Accidental loss of a tissue, a cell or an organ. Accidentally अगर किसी organism का कोई part, कोई cell या tissue damage हो जाता है, तो that damaged cell, damaged tissue or damaged part can be regenerated. कुछ organisms जो हैं या most of the organisms are having this capability of regeneration of these worn out cells, tissues and parts. Other organisms have the ability to regenerate the whole body from a piece of body, like Hydra. Now we are going to see that how the animals regenerate. Over here there is a starfish, you can see. This starfish lost one of its arms accidentally, and the starfish has the capability of regenerating a new arm by the process of regeneration. What actually happens over here? यहाँ पर होता क्या है? In this part, in this damaged part, the cells start dividing by the process of mitosis and add new cells. And in this way a new arm is regenerated. So this is what we call regeneration, in which the mitosis helps the living organisms. So this was all about the importance of mitosis in biological world.